they don't want you to know what I'm about to share with you. The feminine energy is the key to manifesting anything that you want in your reality. The feminine energy is the portal in which everybody comes through. Everybody comes from a womb man, and the womb man is the portal. The masculine or the masculine is someone who enters the womb man and activates the portal. We have a fluid called semen, and the semen has many minerals and nutrients in it which actually activate the feminine, the egg, and create the portal for the light man to come into the womb man. Now, what is a light man? So if we look at a human, we're not actually humans. If we break it down and we actually look at the word hue, as in H-U-E, that means light, a spectrum of light. We are a spectrum of light. We have 7 main chakras or 7 main realms, and these realms function by themselves. They are literally their own worlds. So the root chakra, dealing with the material world, dealing with the foundation, dealing with substance and our home and our money. This is the survival chakra. It's its own complete world. And it's our job, our conscious ones, to rise above all of this and stepping into higher states of consciousness so that we can intend and manifest our reality, or should I say, choosing our reality by realizing that we are God where we stand right now, and that the mind or the ego or the masculine is actually the one that is keeping us from the truth. The masculine is being used against us. They are programming the mind in order for us to perceive reality in a certain way. And the more that we focus on seeing manifestation, the law of attraction with the mind, the more that we get tied into matter. Okay, you are beyond matter. You are more than matter. You are more than this material world. And so going back to the feminine and why we need to embrace it more is because it's really, really powerful. Again, every human or light man comes from a womb man, which is feminine. Now let's dive into it a little bit deeper. When we break down the word feminine, we got the word 9 inside. Everything that's multiplied by 9 leads back to 9. What do I mean by that? So if you do 9 times 1, 9 times 1 is 9. If you do 9 times 2, 9 times 2 is 18. 18, 1 and 8, 1 and 8 equals 9. If you do 3 times 9, you get 27. 2 and 7 equals 9. When you multiply 9, it always comes back to 9. Feminine is infinity. Keeps on going round and round. So the womb man and the feminine is infinity. And we are so lost in the mind, in the ego, in the masculine, that we are not embracing the feminine dynamic. In fact, we see the feminine dynamic as something bad in our reality, and that being soft and sweet and gentle in our reality has actually become a bad thing. And we need to be more masculine, and we need to get to the career, and we need to go up the career ladder, and we need to push down our emotions, which is also feminine. Emotions are feminine. And I'm going to get onto the heart in just a moment, because the heart is also feminine or feminine. And understanding that if the human is created in the womb from the feminine, then our reality is also created in the womb of the feminine. The feminine must be placed first in our reality to see a shift in our reality. If we put it last, we're living in the opposition. We are working with the devil or the evil or the opposition. So only evil exists in the mind. We've got the left and the right brain hemispheres. Dualistic thinking, right? Left brain, logical thinking, right brain, creative thinking. And these two dualities or polarities, we have to understand that this is creating good and bad. So good and bad is you. Now, something that is bad is different for everyone. Something that is good is different for everyone. So none of that is actually real. It's actually our thinking and the meaning that we put behind it, which creates these narratives and stories around it, further perpetuating us in this Maya illusion matrix. And so we have to learn to rise above the mind, step back into the heart, and realize the power of the feminine. Also, if we look at our numerical system, you'll see that 9 is actually the highest number that exists. How is that even possible? Well, when we go to 9, next after that is 10. 10 is 1 and 0. That means we're back to 1 and 0, right? We're going back to the beginning here, right? Do you see what I mean? So 9 is actually the highest number. 9 is the end and 1 is the beginning. So in our reality, 9 is the end and 1 is the beginning. So 1 straight, masculine, straight is put first once again. But what if they're putting it the wrong way around? What if it's backwards? What if it's 9, 8, 7, and that's the way things are supposed to be counted? I don't know. I'm just kind of like brainstorming here. Let me know what you think in the comments. But overall, the 9 and the 1, they work together synergistically. So if you think about it this way, everybody is first or comes from first the womb man, the feminine. So if we actually look at it, the first is the womb man or the feminine. Everybody comes through the womb man, and doesn't matter if it's male or female, they're always coming through the feminine or the feminine. And so in this case, 9 is gone to 1. If we look at the heart is the feminine or feminine, right? And the heart is the first organ to grow in the human body. Again, the feminine has come first in terms of our metaphysics and the way this reality is shaped and the way that it works. If you look at the Fibonacci cycle or spiral, it's like a 9, right? It's still going like a 9. And then you look at a shell or flowers, it's always in the pattern of a 9. And so what I'm saying here is this is the core of our reality, but yet the illusion or the matrix is trying to make us do it in the opposite way. We are using the law of attraction. We are living our reality backwards. We are wanting, desiring, and needing things, masculine brain, rather than stepping into the truth, God, our nature, our spiral, right, our 9, and realizing that we are the creators of our own reality, masculine or feminine, male or female. So let's go to the heart, because the heart is the feminine and it represents a pump, right, that pumps blood around the body. But in actuality, it's not a pump, right? It's a vortex. And this vortex is very powerful for establishing or creating our reality. And when we are able to take care of our hearts, we are able to increase our magnetic field. When we increase our magnetic field, we can able to shape matter. The more that we're able to raise our vibration and shift the lower vibrational frequencies, which are not good or bad, by the way, then we are able to shift our entire reality. So the first step here is to recognize that all of your traumas, all of your hardships, all of your difficult situations that you've been through, I'm not here to gaslight you or make you feel bad about them or to make you suppress them or to try and say or dim down what you've been through in your life. But what I want to say right now is those things are the illusion of the mind. Those things are keeping you in the prison of the mind. Those things are keeping you in the prison of memory, because there is no past. The past doesn't exist. It only exists because you have the memory of the past, right? And so the memories that you have stored in your body is keeping the dimming of the electromagnetic energy of your heart and stopping you from manifesting and co-creating your reality. So your heart's electromagnetic energy is 60 times more powerful than the electromagnetic energy from the brain. And if we realize that more and more, we will start working more with the feminine, we will start working more with the heart. And so your emotions from the past, your traumas, your hardships, and all of these things are burdens to you living out your true self. And it's important to shift beyond that, to raise your level of consciousness and no longer identifying with your past the same way that you do, and doing the healing, therapeutic, whatever way you want to do it, and releasing that out of your being, which will dramatically raise your vibration and allow you to step into higher states of consciousness, thus manifesting your reality. So if you look on screen right now at the map of consciousness by David R. Hawkins, you'll see that the top vibrational state is enlightenment. And in this state, every lower emotion is just an is. There is no meaning behind it. It's not bad or good. You've stepped beyond the dualistic thinking and you've stepped into planes of existence or the God frequency. Now you are not giving your past or your memory meaning. And so memory is just data. And I know this sounds crazy, but your traumas, your hardships, and the things that you've been through are electrical signals flowing through your body. That is all they are. But because we are identified with them, because there's so much importance behind it, because there's so much energy behind it, because it doesn't feel good in the body, we identify it even more and we become more attached to it. And by becoming more attached to it and engaging in it, what happens is we experience what we call suffering. And they say right? Well, they don't say, but the Buddha said the root cause of all suffering is attachment. And so being attached to our mind, being attached to our emotions, being attached to the material world or the matrix is what keeps us away from the God frequency. And so every time that you notice you're experiencing a negative emotion or negative thought or whatever it is, don't label it as something bad. See it as just is, because you're just adding more fuel to the fire by engaging with it the same way that you do. And again, I'm not saying to gaslight yourself here. I'm not saying to stop feeling the negative emotion or push it away. I'm saying to step back into the void, or step back into presence, as Eckhart Tolle calls it, or step back into the state of enlightenment and not labeling it good or bad and experiencing it as is. So you're not creating more of a destructive pattern inside of yourself of blocking the manifestation that you want in your life and allowing your heart to work the way that it could, right? So it's my belief that our brains, or dualistic thinking, was supposed to be used, or it was designed to be used to protect the feminine, right? Which is how we perceive masculine and feminine energy usually in our reality, is that the man protects the woman. But now we've become so polarized that women now protect themselves in some way, shape or form. You know what I mean? And it's like female or woman empowerment and feminism and stuff like this, which is awesome, but it's also taking the feminine away from their true power and their powerful creational energy in the feminine rather than in the masculine. So as you can see so far, 9 is a very powerful number. And when a woman is pregnant, right, it looks like a 9, right? It's shaped as a 9. The pregnant, woman, there's a 9. And, when people are, selling their products and stuff, right, it's 9.99. They're always using the 9 in the numbers when they're selling stuff. Even when you do 360 degrees, you got the 3 plus the 6, which equals the 9, right? And so again, 9 is infinity, and it is the God. It is the power that we need to tap into. It's the highest frequency, yet we are moving away from it and focused on the 1, right? We're focused on the masculine. We're focused on the mind. We're focused on the ego so much, which is an illusion that we get lost in. It's a world that we get lost in, and we're so far in this narrative, and we're no longer in our bodies, and we're becoming more and more disconnected. And so to increase your electromagnetic energy, you need to connect back with the 9. Things that are representing the 9, like Mother Nature, the electromagnetic energy of the earth, right? Going into nature, connecting with nature, eating real food, electrifying food. You can look into Dr. Sebi, for example, medical medium, and eating foods that represent electricity. And this is where the power comes in, is getting back to the truth. Even Nikola Tesla figured out the 3, the 6, and the 9, right? When we get the 3 and the 6, and you got back to 9. And so these are very powerful numbers. All of them, 3, 6, and 9, very powerful numbers, and we can use them to shape our reality. So Nikola Tesla used to do the same thing 3, 6, or 9 times. So for example, if you're writing an affirmation, instead of writing it once, write it 3 times or 6 times or 9 times. Use these numbers to empower your reality. Now, I know we're dealing with the matrix, and sometimes the matrix can be challenging, right, and difficult, and there's people around us that might be affecting our energy. Other people's electromagnetic field may be bringing us down, and we're feeling all these feelings and emotions and sensitivities because of the reality that we live in. The key is rising above all of that, raising your level of consciousness. And you can do that through meditation, like Isha Kriya meditation by Sadhguru, which will help and support in raising your level of consciousness. I have a protocol in my program called the No Self Protocol, where you transcend illusion. You are transcending the matrix, and you're instantaneously stepping into the God frequency. There's a link in the description where you can learn about that program, Awaken. You can practice Eckhart Tolle's work by being present and not labeling things, being present in the now, being here now in the present, and not in the mind, in the ego, in the logic, in the thinking, and then experiencing emotion, experiencing the 9. The 9 is emotion, right? Energy, emotion. These things are the 9, and we want to embrace those things more rather than being, our heads cut off like heads in the cloud, and we're disconnected from our bodies. And so getting back into our bodies, getting back to feeling, despite if it's negative or bad, right? We want to feel those things. We want to experience those things and being present with them and allow them to process. The more that you allow them to process and come out of your body and shift and transmute themselves, then the more it's going to raise your vibration, right? The more that we have it suppressed and we're carrying around these information, data, sadness, grief, upset, right? Divorce, breakup, hardship. The more that we're carrying that around, the more that's a part of our vibration, and the more that's going to affect our ability to manifest through the electromagnetic field and our influence on matter. So by raising our level of consciousness, we are allowing ourselves to transcend matter, to rise above matter and shift and co-create and choose our realities. If you would like to continue this journey with me, there's a link in the description where you can join my Awaken program. Much love.